Mike Tessino, our COO, will speak on this item. Mr. Tessino.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for taking that item out of order.
Absolutely.
Marion has some stuff she's going to put on the screen, I hope. Okay. So while they're working on that, in your background material, I just wanted to, instead of reading the whole thing, obviously, just kind of focus on the middle paragraph where when we get public records requests, by law, they're supposed to be answered within 10 days.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, forgive me, Mr. Tessino. Are we waiting for Mr. Iverson?
I don't believe he's coming because the questions weren't submitted in writing. So Mr. Tessino is going to handle it, and then we can put it back on the agenda.
I'm sorry. Help me understand that, Mr. Tessino.
Mr. Iverson asked that we use the section of the charter where when someone's invited to the council, they provide questions ahead of time.
Marion asked us for questions, but I didn't.
Right. I think the spirit was to have a discussion with the person fulfilling public records requests. And we had this came up a number of times. And we postponed it from a September meeting. I think it was first brought up in July. Why the discomfort of, I don't think that's ever happened before.
The mayor's office asked him to attend, and he wanted to invoke the section of the charter that requires the city council to invite him to the meeting and supply the questions ahead of time. That's what he did. That's what he asked for. And I sent an email.
And the mayor's comfortable with that?
Yeah, I mean, he's invoking that section of the charter.
Okay. I think it's uncomfortable that we want to have a public discussion about seemingly ongoing issues, about how we handle public information for the public, access to information about what their government is doing and the processes employed therein by their government. And the administration refuses to have that conversation without having questions submitted in advance. I mean, it's one thing if we were asking very precise, specific, that's the spirit of that piece of the charter. So people can prepare in advance, but it's not to get out of having the discussion publicly. Help me understand why you're comfortable with that.
I'm here tonight to answer any questions you have, and I have a brief presentation.
I was really looking forward to having a discussion with the person that handles the public records for 1,000.
Well, him and other employees that handle public records felt that they were insulted because you had said that the city wasn't doing public records correctly. So Mr. Iverson is just one of several people that do that. So he just felt that if he's going to be criticized, he wants to invoke that section of the charter where the questions are given to him ahead of time.
I think I've been careful in my thoughts, and I appreciate the indulgence on time, Mr. Chairman. I've been in pains to be where I've been critical at the administration's tone and priorities when it comes to how we handle public information. And I've always given examples about maybe there are things that are commonly requested that we can publish proactively so people don't have to file public records laws. I don't think I've ever taken a slight at an individual in the way they handle public records requests. I'm sure he's doing a fantastic job doing exactly what he's being told to do. And if there are more people involved in that, I'd like to know about that. This was an opportunity to really shine. I had hoped, since I had asked the administration back in May, hey, can you take a look at our most common requests, see what we can do differently, see what we've learned, see what we can do better. Because I know, and we're making progress, by the way, because the first administration, I was going to lead the discussion tonight by saying the first administration didn't want to have the conversation. And the public records officer at the time refused to be here. I thought we were making progress because we were finally going to discuss it for the first time. And I've let this slide for months, hoping that, the administration was making meaningful changes to better accommodate the public in how they access information. We talked about it during the budget cycle. We talked about it, countless times with technology services. As the person that asked for this discussion repeatedly and was very gracious in allowing more time for the administration to prepare, I'm quite disappointed that the person in charge of handling our public records requests, it's not the individual. I'm disappointed and troubled by the administration's handling of this, because it's an opportunity for us all to work together and learn together. And I'm profoundly disappointed that the folks that are handling this public information you won't allow them or are okay with them not being here to be in public talking about such an important matter.
Well, we support our staff. In the last meeting, you insulted them and said we're not doing public records requests. I met with some of them and they felt insulted. So that's when Mr. Iverson said, I think we should follow the charter and the city council should invite me in and give me the questions ahead of time.
Well, I take umbrage with the fact that us having a conversation publicly about how we as a municipality can better serve the public through greater access to their information is insulting to anybody. But having to put off this discussion and hide from the discussion of having it publicly is insulting to nobody but the public. And if they felt insulted, reach out to me so I can have a conversation to make people feel better. I don't think anything in that discussion was insulting. The tone is, how can we do better? We seem to have about 20%, and I'll leave my comments here, Mr. Chairman. This is clearly a waste of time, and I'm profoundly alarmed by what I'm hearing. Your administration handled a calculated practice by the previous administration, where if there was a request that needed to be handled within 10 days, we would somehow miraculously handle it on day number 10. And if they appealed to the state and the state gave us 2 weeks, we would miraculously get around to it on the very last day. Now, I don't think that I work with everybody, the administration, my colleagues, department heads. I think everybody believes and has the desire to be as transparent and accessible as they claim. But I think we have a lot of old practices here that are inconsistent with the commitment to transparency that the current mayor has. And I thought it would be a helpful time when this was brought up in May through the budget cycle and through technology services. What can we do to make it easier for people to get information about their government? How the administration would take that as insulting, it's like you don't like people asking questions. A lot of people have to go through all of these hoops to get information that's reasonable about their government. We make them appeal to the state. We seem to lose about 20% of the time, which to me is alarming. We got to be able to do a better job.
Okay.
We
got
don't
Councilor-
lose-
This is a waste of time, Mr.
I got
Chairman.
Councilor Bryant, Councilor King, then I'm going to let you do the presentation.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that the following invoking the right of the charter is proper, and it's allowable. I understand the disappointment by one of the counselors who did request this, but by the same token, it is not that the council at large everyone feels the same way in terms of how these how the public records have been handled and whatnot anyway. And some of us do understand why without questions prior, it's kind of technical anyway, questions coming in prior, why on their end they might feel that it would be a waste of time to come. And it might devolve into just a he say, she said, or whatever, back and forth thing. So I can understand that. And I would like to go ahead and let's go through this. And hopefully we can, if we need to, go further, like with the actual, when we can make them comfortable, go further with them. But at the same token, we don't all necessarily feel or had felt that there was a need to overhaul any part of it per se. I mean, there are state laws in place and federal laws in place. And there are social media outlets that seem to get information and what they do with it, whether they report it accurately, but information, government information without going through a FOIA request. So I don't know the problem there. And the time frame, so a lot of the things that came in on the 10th day, the former staff administration was kept very, very busy with a lot of ridiculous requests too. So it mounted up. Thank you.
Councilor King, Councilor Ward, and then we'll hear the report.
So I wasn't really aware of any of this, but I do think that how we handle public records, whether it's a previous administration, this administration, any future administration, is very important to what we do as a government. I think we need to be transparent and we need to make sure that people get information they're entitled to and they ask for. I think as someone who was on the Charter Commission, I think it's a misinterpretation to a slight extent of this portion. Though you may read it literally as stated here, I think that it's a little bit of the tail wagging the dog, to be honest with you, because if you want your employee to come to the city council, you have that right. Somebody who works for you can't trump you and say they're going to hold the city council. That's your decision, Mr. Tassino. It's not his decision. So, I understand. I mean, I'm disappointed that we're not going to have the opportunity, apparently, to speak with I don't even know what the gentleman looks like. I do not know him. I don't believe I've ever met him. But I'm disappointed that we're not going to have the opportunity to ask somebody who deals with it day to day, the questions that I think help everybody by asking and answering these questions. So I don't know if it makes sense to table it or to hear Mr. Tassino's presentation, but I would lean towards tabling it and see if we can work something out myself. But I can't move the table because I spoke to it.
Motion to table.
Council Ward, you had your hand up. I did call, let's say,
I-
then we'll go. I know, but
I was just going to say, I found the information very helpful, but I agree with a lot of what Councilor King said, that I think it would be more helpful for us to have the conversation with the staff member in charge of it. And we should have the time to submit those questions. And yeah, so I would support that motion to table
so
by.
the only reason, because I had recognized him and I didn't we got a motion to table by Ken and I got a second by Liam Bruno.
No, long.
Long, okay.
Yeah, I'll have a comment just to,
It's okay.
if that's all right.
Yeah,
Non-debatable.
you can comment.
Well, apparently, can I comment after?
I'm running, listen, you know what? I get yelled at because other people talk too much. Well, guess what? I had recognized Brandon that he was the next one to talk. Mike jumped in and said motion to table. I had the courtesy of recognizing Brandon. You can comment now.
So here's the discussion.
Oh.
So someone else can make the motion. I'll withdraw whatever we would need to do, but let's just be clear on how we move forward here. The goal is let's talk about it. We as a city council have never had a meaningful discussion. The first administration didn't want to have the conversation and they were clear about it. I'll give the current administration the benefit of the doubt that perhaps they didn't understand the charter or interpreted the charter in a way different than what Councilor King had explained, which was my interpretation of that piece of the charter as well. I think it helps the public and I think it helps the council and frankly the administration for us to have a conversation of, hey, what are we getting the most requests for? Let's talk about it. It's not that we're doing something, we probably do a better job than most communities. We've just never as a body had the conversation. And I think we've solved a lot of major issues in the community, transitioning from administration to administration. We've just not gotten around to this. So it's not, the insulting thing really bothers me because I'm very candid and I don't shy away from asking tough questions or having an uncomfortable conversation, but I am very careful about not insulting, staff. I'll be candid with you, Mr. Tassino. We pay you a lot of money. And if I have a problem with something you're doing, I'll tell you and you'll tell me the same thing. But I don't pick on staff that are doing exactly what they're told. But I think talking to somebody who's doing it day to day is of value to the organization and to the council. So let's be clear on the tone.
Yep.
So I think that's the conversation.
Councilor Bruno, do you have a motion?
I'll motion to table.
Second.
Seconded by Long, motion by Liam Bruno, roll call vote. Council Steiner.
Yes.
Councilor Cannon.
Yes.
Councilor Liam Bruno.
Yes.
Councilor Long.
Yes.
Councilor Ward.
Yes.
Viviani, yes. Councilor Bryant.
No.
Councilor King.
Yes.
Councilor White Harvey.
Yes.
And Councilor Malik.
Yes.
Thank you.
And can we put that on our next meeting, Mr. Chairman?
We're pretty full, but if I can't get on the next one, I'll put on the first one in November. I will shoot for the end of the month, though.
It's been since May.
I absolutely agree.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yep, presentation.